Big 12 tournament as that 7-10 game.
Brandon Schneider told me earlier today, because we only play BYU once, I haven't naturally dived into the film, but my gosh, Delaney Gibb is really, really good. We might want to call her Delaney Good.
That's what most opponent coaches say, how good Delaney Gibb is and how much she is going to draw attention on their scouting report.
Gibb splits the double team and finds an open shooter in Kemery Congdon. No good on the three, but an offensive rebound tracked down by the Cougars. Here is Amari Whiting, the sophomore point guard for BYU. Brinley Cannon receives on the wing. Entry pass for Emma Calvert. Bounce pass inside, and Cannon left the layup short.
A beautiful cut from Cannon. She's just active, and she's in the starting lineup for the second game in a row due to Cambry Barber being out, who was another star freshman.
Jayhawks' first offensive possession, and a quick early reach-in foul charged to Gibb, defending against Samaya Nichols. Going to be a fun matchup all night between Gibb and Nichols.
And Nichols already drawing the contact. That is something she does so well in finding herself at the free throw line. She averages 9 free throw attempts per game.
3-level score in every sense of the phrase, Samaya Nichols.
She loves to get all the way to the rim, but she has added that mid-range pull-up into her toolbox, and just a beautiful shot. She can hit from the outside as well, but her preference is put the ball on the floor, play downhill.
Calvert holding straight away. We'll hand off to Whiting. With 7 on the shot clock, double team comes from Kansas. Now Congdon with 2 and 1 on the shot clock. Floater is no good, offensive rebound. Falls right into her lap, and she'll kick back out for Whiting, who will immediately take it back in. Good vision from the BYU point guard, and the Cougars answer back.
So back-to-back possessions where the Jayhawks have given up. Coach Whiting is fired up to see Calvert going to the rim and getting the ball there, and that's going to be the second foul on Delaney Gibb.
Wow. Big early call. Nichols a little bit slow to get up as she fell down in front of that first row of seats.
Boy, tough break for BYU. That's going to sit Delaney Gibb for a good chunk here in the first half as their leading scorer. I mean, she leads them in almost every category. So who's going to pick up the slack? You have Emma Calvert, who's also in double figures with 13 points. Amari Whiting has been more assertive offensively, and I think she's the player. She sets the tone defensively, but she can step up more offensively and carry some of that load.
Understandably, huge turn of events early in this game. Mark it down, 8:04 mark, where Delaney Gibb goes out in the first quarter with 2 fouls, and the jumper is good from Regan Williams.
Williams making her presence known already. They moved her into a bench role coming off the bench because she's been getting into foul trouble to start games, and she has embraced that role and just gets a little more comfortable finding her spots.
There's another one of those head-scratching turnovers that have plagued BYU for much of the season, as Whiting could not save it on the errant pass from Congdon, and Kansas to take advantage here.
BYU averaging 20 turnovers per game in Big 12 play. Their opponents are scoring about 21 points off the turnovers. It's just been the Achilles heel for this BYU team.
Copeland right at Cannon, and the whistle will send Copeland to the free throw line. The junior out of Kansas City, one of the smaller players on the floor at 5 feet 7 inches, will earn her trip to the charity stripe.
And that's not needed. You see the size difference there. Cannon just keep those hands straight up, but the left hand came down. That's what the officials are watching. The Jayhawks early have done a really good job putting the ball on the deck, being physical, and drawing 3 personal fouls now on BYU.
Sanaya Copeland. As you can see, not a great free throw shooter this season, just 59%.
She's been a great addition, though, to this squad. A transfer from Wisconsin, played 2 years at Wisconsin.
And she missed them both. So the Jayhawks come up empty after the BYU turnover. In the 0 for 2 trip to the free throw line, we stay tied at 4. Whiting working around Calvert. A little float pass into the key, and good recovery defense. Quick hands by Williams to force another BYU turnover. Deflection on the pass down court will keep it with the Jayhawks.
Well, the BYU game plan is to get the ball inside, whether it's an entry pass or off the dribble, and then set up your shooters by that spray. Get in there on 2 feet and play off that, but the turnovers continue to wreak havoc for the Cougars.
Nichols, how tough is that move?
She is so talented off the bounce. Keeps her head up, always on a swivel, but just sells you with a little bit of hesitation and then the high finish off the rim.
Whiting in a little bit of trouble, has Davenport coming to bail her out. Congdon cycles to Cannon, fakes the three in the left corner, back out to Davenport, but an offensive foul is called on Cannon before that pass hit the hands of Davenport. And the turnover starting to pile up for BYU here in the first quarter.
So watch Nichols get in a good position, absorb the contact, sell it by going to the ground. That's the third foul that she has drawn on BYU. 2 on Delaney Gibb, and now Cannon picking up that foul. That'll be the second on Cannon. So you've got the 2-star freshmen that are in the starting lineup. Now we're going to have to sit on the bench. Going with more of a veteran roster out there. And BYU continues with this extended pressure.
One quick pass beats the pressure. Easy press break points for Kansas.
Good composure by Elle Evans just to take care of that ball, and then the 1-on-2 opportunity, perfect bounce pass.
Kemery Congdon driving to her left. Open lane, and Congdon pays it off for BYU. 8-6 Jayhawks in front early. Nichols doesn't get the call this time. Whiting and Congdon combining for the double team. That results in more points off turnovers, and we're tied at 8.
So with Gibb on the bench, you're going to see Whiting now pick up Nichols a little bit more, and she's more of a pest defensively, especially with on-ball. Wreaks havoc defensively.
Conessa.
That's a tough shot. Really had to extend her arm to get that shot off above the 6'4" frame.
Miss from Brittany Harshaw.
BYU's done a really good job boxing out, just limiting to 1 and done. That time, Hattie Ogden, excellent job on the box out.
Congdon's 3, long on the iron, and the rebound falls to Williams, who gives quickly to Samaya Nichols. Nichols will pull up from that left elbow, knock it down, and a foul. Samaya Nichols with 4 points, gives Kansas the lead back by 1 as we look at that turnover and points from BYU.
BYU really looking to trap, and did an excellent job not fouling that time and then finishing in transition. It's a big part of what they want to do. Force you into turnovers and then push in transition.
BYU women's basketball.
Unfortunately for the freshmen tonight, Kristen, early foul trouble for both of those impact players. 2 fouls for Cannon, 2 fouls for Gibb. Nichols misses the free throw, and the and one is not paid off out of the break, so Kansas will maintain just the 1-point lead at 12-11.
Well, and credit Nichols on those foul trouble with Gibb and Cannon, as she's drawn 4 of the 5 team fouls on BYU.
Whiting, unselfish play for Davenport, looking for a second 3-point make, but that one is missed front rim. Nichols now directing traffic as the Jayhawks go back on offense.
Well, the Jayhawks do a really good job with their spacing, allowing the driving lanes, and there you see a big shot right there as she got to the rim. Leah Conessa one more time, because BYU is so spaced out defensively.
A couple of times, Leah Conessa getting through the BYU defense. Soft touch off the glass. 3-point Jayhawks advantage. Under 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Fast start for both offenses. Kansas 7 for 9 shooting. BYU 5 for 10. Congdon to Calvert, again with the shot clock winding down. And Calvert, crafty move in the post, found an angle and an alley to get that shot up, and she gets a friendly bounce on her senior night.
And Calvert has the advantage inside. With her size, with her strength, she needs to go to work down there and try to get some low block position.
Open jumper is missed by Williams. BYU looking to push pace a little bit. Whiting to Ogden, and again cycled to Calvert. Congdon off the high ball screen. Will give to Ogden. Right into a 3 that misses everything. And Harshaw with the rebound. She'll push for the Jayhawks.
The BYU is so dependent on Delaney Gibb a lot of the time offensively to kind of get going, and you can tell that they're just a little bit out of rhythm offensively as Nichols draws another hard foul going right at Calvert. And you see Calvert right here. She's just going to go right into the use a little shot fake to get Calvert up. She's so crafty around the rim with those secondary moves.
They're going to call it travel
Oh my goodness.
On Nichols before the contact from Calvert.
And that took a little bit as the refs came together to try to decide. They allowed Nichols to obviously compose herself and get up because that was a lot of contact. A lucky break for BYU. That's massive.
Unexpected turn of events there.
And this opportunity, it opens the door for BYU. Now you got to capitalize when Kansas is turning the ball over. They don't turn the ball over a lot. So capitalize and try to get something at the rim again. Maybe a touch with Calvert. If it's not there, then an outside look.
Again, BYU playing without their best player on the floor for the last 6 minutes. Whiting's pass is knocked out of bounds on the skip, intended for Ogden.
And that's not needed. I know she thought it was open for a split second, but those are the home run plays that BYU's trying to make where the turnovers are coming that Coach Whiting has talked to us about. Got to make the easy play. She could have gone right to Congdon and then one more to the corner.
Congdon to inbound, will bounce to Calvert. Shot clock at 8 for Whiting, into some traffic, and again her pass is knocked out of bounds. 2:27 to play in the first quarter.
The Jayhawks doing a really good job, Spencer, just getting their arms in the passing lane, being active away from the ball, making sure you're jumping into the passing lanes.
Whiting will take a quick breather, and here is Delaney Gibb with the 2 fouls. Back in the game late in the first quarter.
Coach Whiting showing a lot of trust in the star freshman to not pick up the third.
Congdon fouled with the shot clock winding down, a bailout for BYU, and Brandon Schneider, not surprisingly, upset with his team's defense late in the shot clock.
And that's been a struggle this season. They are very inconsistent defensively. We talked about the rebounding, that's also been a struggle, but defensively, the physicality, matching the physicality or coming out physical, and then not rotating or just not communicating defensively.
Offensive rebound by Gibb off the miss from Davenport. Congdon into a 3, that's well offline. Gibb will track it down again, try and throw it off the legs of Sanaya Copeland, but Gibb was on the baseline. So the Jayhawks will take over possession. Well, one thing that is working for BYU on offense is their presence in the paint. 10 points in the paint of the 14. Good backdoor cut, but the layup is a little bit shallow from Elle Evans, and now BYU back on the attack. Gibb doubled and bumped and fouled. And they will get that, or charge that foul rather, to Nadira El-Tayeb.
Anytime that Delaney Gibb is involved in that pick and roll action, they are going to double her hard. And watch, both of the double coming out, but see the reach right there? El-Tayeb just did not need to reach. Just hold your ground. She had picked up her dribble. Use your size to be disruptive. Again, the double on Gibb. They are happy at doubling her. Great rotation from Williams.
Good recovery at shoot around. Watch that very impactful play by Kansas. This is something that they have worked on a lot against this BYU team, is double-double and recover, play at full speed.
It's difficult to do when you're clear across on the other wing in that double and then to sprint all the way back knowing that the pass is going to come in. So credit to Williams, great hustle. And that's the rotation that Coach Schneider wants to see from his team. It's just that effort plays, right? So you're asking a lot to go out in the double, not foul, but force Delaney Gibb to make a tough pass and then hustle back and make another play.
Well, the free throw line has not been friendly to the Jayhawks here tonight. Now 0 for 4 as a team. And now make it 0 for 5 as Evans goes 0 for 2 on that trip, and the Jayhawks still in front just by the single point.
And the misses by Evans and Nichols, those two players shoot over 83% at the line.
Gibb, spin move, misses the layup, fights for the offensive rebound, ball loose, throws it over her head to Amari Whiting, who gives back to Gibb, dribbling into a triple team. Ball gets away, but Whiting collects again. 6 on the shot clock. Whiting is bumped and fouled again late in the shot clock.
2 seconds on the clock. And that is tough because the Jayhawks, I thought, did a really good job rotating, great defense, and then you pick up a foul late in the clock, and BYU out of sorts as they're trying to put the ball on the floor. That's a big part of what they do. Whiting and Gibb love to play downhill. Sometimes they're over dribbling into that traffic of 1, 2, 3 defenders.
Well, now BYU will have their chance at the first free throw make of this game. Their first free throw attempts on the way from Amari Whiting. Kansas 0 for 5. And now the Cougars point guard drops it in. 14 all, 57 seconds and change to play in the opening frame. Whiting for one more. And goes 1 for 2. Nichols with the rebound. Will control. 7, make it 6 first quarter points for Samaya Nichols. And Brynlee Cannon just picked up her 3rd personal foul. Boy, a very, very tight whistle tonight from the officials thus far.
Smart play from Evans just to put the ball on the floor, go right at Cannon, knowing she's already got 2. And if you're going to give up middle, you don't have help. I mean, that's the one thing that BYU really tries to emphasize is force baseline. And Cannon a little bit out of position initially when Evans put the ball on the floor.
Well, that free throw ends a more than 3-minute scoring drought for Kansas. Jayhawks back in front by 2. BYU 1 for their last 7 from the field. They have missed their last 4 shots. Congdon cut off, leaves it short. Offensive rebound again. Off the glass, no good. It's not for lack of opportunities from BYU. Cougars just cooling off here at the end of the first quarter. They're 6 for 17. They've attempted 6 more shots than Kansas, but trail by 2.
Yeah, 5 offensive rebounds, but just 3 second chance points. So they're not able to execute when they do get that board on the second chance opportunity.
Nichols at Heather Hampson. And a veteran play by Samaya Nichols with the first quarter clock winding down. She'll shoot 2.
This is why she leads the nation in free throw attempts and makes, because she is not afraid. She plays fearless to go in there amongst the trees and just go right at Hampson and draw that contact. That's a clear foul. I know that the fans are frustrated. You can kind of hear them in the background, but Hampson had her hands down. We saw Calvert do that in the first half.
That's her 250th free throw attempt of the season right
there. That
there.
is insane, just how much she gets there, and she set a record for Kansas.
And Nichols knocks both down. Game high 8 points for the Kansas sophomore guard.
Makes a living at the free throw line. 40% of the points she scored this season have come at the free throw line.
BYU will go with Gibb, who somehow breaks the pressure, but then turns it over as the clock winds out.
In the pick and roll action or in transition, she's one of my favorite players in the conference just because of how she plays. And very unselfish player, but this is her team this year, and how she plays really depicts how they do on both sides of the ball.
Interestingly enough, Coach Schneider upset because they missed the pass that he wanted out of the timeout, but it still results in a made 3.
BYU has the advantage from outside, and they've got to hit shots. They were 1 for 6 before that 3 went down for Amari Whiting. They got to shoot well.
Calvert, a lot of contact there, I thought, on the wrist.
Agreed. I thought Calvert got away with one, and she's already got, well, she doesn't have any. The one was a travel earlier, but she does not have a foul.
Oh, Nichols is down after a collision going around the screen, or attempting to. Thankfully, back on her feet. BYU unable to pay it off with Nichols on the floor. And a reach in. Ball knocked out of bounds. It stays with the Jayhawks. And once again, the Jayhawks asking for a foul. This time, Laya Conessa saying, I got hit.
Well, you see what Nichols is able to create off the pick and roll action. If she doesn't dump it in or get to the rim, she's able to kick it out to her shooters. And Amari Whiting asserting herself offensively. That's huge in this game where you've got your teammates in foul trouble. Whiting's got 8 points on a perfect 3 for 3 from the floor, along with 2 rebounds.
Coach Schneider just asked her, are you okay? Samaya Nichols said, yep. She's going to take a quick breather. We'll see her very shortly, I would assume. Conessa has been effective going to the hoop thus far. This time gives back to Evans. Good bounce pass inside. Calvert there to defend.
I think Calvert's gotten away with 2 of them that would have been called in the first quarter.
Whiting fakes the 3 this time. Little floater from the short corner left and leaves it short. Rebound to Williams. Conessa pushing for Kansas. Flips it back out for Harshaw. Cut off by Congdon.
See, Williams not even looking to shoot. That's where Calvert can just sit in the paint, protect on the dribble drive.
Instead, it's Evans, and that ball crawls over the front of the rim and good.
Evans will shoot that ball. The transfer from North Dakota State is just so confident with the ball in her hands. One of them
coming off a tough game and a home loss against Arizona State where she was 1 for 8 from 3, so a good sign for Congdon to see that one go down in the second quarter.
And a 1 for 7 start overall in this game. So as you mentioned, just that's big when you see that one to go down, and it was just a beautiful, hardly any rim shot to go through the rim.
Well, this time Williams decides to take the jumper when it was somewhat contested and promptly knocks it down.
Similar to how we started the game. Both these teams started out the game red hot shooting.
Whiting back to Davenport. A lot of drive and kick for BYU. This is not uncommon for this BYU offense.
BYU, more movement away from the ball is what they need, though. When that drive and kick comes, you obviously want to space out for shots, but you also got to flash to the rim.
Ogden, wide open 3 from the left wing, just long. Davenport, the last to touch it, and Kansas will take over possession with the 5-point lead. Here is the latest make from BYU on the 3 from Kemery Congdon.
Kemery Congdon, one of 5 seniors that will be honored after the game today in their senior night game. And she's a veteran player in her 5th season, started her career at Utah and then played a couple years at Cal before finishing off here at BYU.
BYU has had ample opportunity offensively, again, to have taken 6 more shots as a team than Kansas, with the Cougars shooting 36% to the Jayhawks 63%.
A much better start here in the second frame to take care of the ball, and that was a tough screen that Davenport took.
Nadir El-Tayeb, the guilty party, picks up her 2nd foul on the offensive foul.
Watch right here. Did she get set? Part of it is Canessa. If she doesn't wait for that screen to happen, it's partly her fault as well, and Davenport absorbing that contact.
Delaney Gibb back into the game for the Cougars. Foul away from the ball. Calvert fighting for position with Evans.
Calvert was trying to come from block to block, and they were just impeding her progress going through. You have to allow her to go through, but they were holding on to her too much. So that foul is going to go against Harshaw.
Yes, they signal 23, not 21, so it goes to Harshaw. That is her 2nd foul. Gibbs pass inside. Knocked away. BYU fortunate to hang on to possession there.
Williams does a really good job moving off the ball and in anticipation. So when the ball is in movement, that air time of the ball, she's moving. And she's active, and yes, she's undersized in there, but she's super athletic. I like what I see from her defensively. Right now with Snyder, and he just knows how quickly BYU can open this up. I know they're trailing by 2, but if they get going from 3-point, as we've seen the last couple possessions, it can get out of hand.
Nichols to Evans, bounce to Williams, driving on Calvert, spinning, and draws the foul. Kansas back to the free throw line. Here's a look again at the latest moment of frustration for Coach Snyder in Kansas as Congdon knocks down an open 3.
A heads-up play from Gibb on that skip pass. Very quickly skips it over there, Congdon. You can see she didn't need a lot of space to get that shot off. Congdon now 2 for 5 from distance. But we're back at the free throw line for the Jayhawks, who do an outstanding job getting themselves there. They're 2nd in the conference in makes and takes. We've talked a lot about Nichols, but across the board, we're seeing them be active, be physical, face up. And Williams with that advantage this time against Calvert as she faced up and got to the rim.
The Jayhawks missed their first 5 free throws. They've now made 6 in a row. And push in front by 4, 27-23 as we approach the midway point of the second quarter. Gibb doubled again. Entry pass for Kendra Gillespie. And Gillespie is whistled for a traveling violation. Turnover number 6 by BYU in the first half.
Well, Gillespie had deep position, but the official saw her dragging that pivot, but we saw once again that hard trap in the corner on Gibb. Not sure how she got that pass out of it.
Williams settling into a confident stroke. BYU inviting her to take that long two, and she's knocked down a couple in a row.
One of the talented young players that we've seen on the court here today, and she should be making that Big 12 freshman team this year because she's been fantastic at 6'3".
Gillespie gives back to Whiting. They want immediate response.
That's the first three-point make for Williams on the season. She does not step out and take a lot. She's only taken 2 before that. So she's playing with a ton of confidence on the offensive side of the ball.
Congdon for 3, this time it's long. Gillespie got a hand on it, keeping it alive for BYU. Not a good decision by Whiting. Easy still for the Jayhawks as that weak side help came over. And almost unimpeded to the hoop for a layup was Copeland. She just missed it.
Well, Gibb with those 2 personal fouls just went straight up wisely. Couldn't really contest the shot too much, but did just enough.
Gibb keeps it from going.
Goodness, BYU shooting at such a high clip here in the second. They're 5 for 7 from three-point and 71% from distance.
11 first half points for Kemery Congdon. 3 triples for the senior. Nichols off glass, no good. Davenport pushing for BYU behind the back dribble. Gillespie straightaway 3, no good. The BYU crowd ready to go nuts if that one went down.
That's not a shot she takes very often, but for her to feel it, the whole team's feeling it from the outside. But Kemery Congdon has led the lead on the outside. And this is where I think they can try to find her off the ball.
Reagan Williams comes back down to earth, misses her first shot, but there's turnover number 8 on the pass from Whiting and BYU. Kansas remains in front by 3 with the ball. 2 minutes to play in the first half.
Nichols has been quiet here in the second quarter. BYU's done a good job. She did sit a little bit after she took a fall, but
Nichols is bumped on the hip check. Easy call there.
Gillespie not moving enough to get in front of the ball, and Nichols taking advantage in that pick and roll. Once again, she is so effective off the bounce. She's sitting on 197 career three-point makes.
BYU has needed every bit of this effort, and shot making from Congdon with Delaney Gibb limited in minutes, in foul trouble with 3 points, and Brinley Cannon with 3 fouls and on the bench for a lot of this first half and scoreless.
The three-point shooting has kept BYU in the game, 6 of 14 overall.
Offensive rebound is grabbed by Denai Papadopoulou of Kansas, who checked in the game for the first time. Nichols, and her pass offline. Uncommon turnover from Samaya Nichols, looking for Brittany Harshaw.
Found herself in a little bit of trouble under the basket. BYU did a good job not bailing her out that time and forcing that foul, but that's a 3rd turnover now for Nichols.
Calvert, and Papadopoulou holds her ground, secures the rebound.
Calvert fading a little bit as she spun right shoulder. Her momentum taking her away from the basket. I'd like to see her go towards the basket, especially against Brynn Williams, have been fantastic. Now both in double figures, but stepping up, knocking down shots when BYU's playing off of them.
Delaney Gibb with her 3rd assist of the game. Good pass, good touch, and an easy finish for Emma Calvert. 4-point Kansas lead as we near halftime. Nichols driving on Whiting, cut off on the baseline. Cycled back to Evans. Congdon now pressuring. Jumper is good again. Elle Evans with a game-high 12 points, 4 of 6 from the field.
She is deliriously confident. Honestly, if you watch her and how she shoots the ball, it doesn't matter if she makes it, misses it, or what's going on with the game. She is confident, and that is so crucial right now. I love her confidence.
58% for the half by Kansas as a team, led by Williams and Evans. Whiting inside, Calvert missed the layup before the halftime buzzer, and the Jayhawks will take their 6-point advantage into the break. An 18-point first quarter for Kansas, and Kansas shot it at a 58% clip in the first half. But it is BYU possession to begin the third quarter here as the Cougars look to cut into the 6-point deficit. Emma Calvert will give back to Delaney Gibb, who had the 2 early fouls, limiting her production. Amari Whiting as Gibb splits the double team and finds her backcourt teammate for an easier 2.
Well, she kept her composure and didn't panic, just going right through it. And that was a great double team. They're looking to double her any opportunity they get when there's that screen action with the on ball. And Coach Snyder mentioned those offensive boards. BYU did have 6 offensive rebounds, but only 3.
Best game in her young career for Kansas, making an impact from the three-point line early in the second half.
Oh, it earned her a start. She had 12 points on 4 of 5 from three-point against Kansas State.
Congdon forced it at the rim. Not an ideal start for Congdon here in the second half after a really good first half shooting from outside. Samaya Nichols and Kansas. And more of the same, drawing fouls, forcing the issue, getting downhill at the rim.
Off of a turnover, and it's a possessions game, and BYU continues to hand over possessions. Cougars now with 8 turnovers. And we talked a lot about the turnovers, the Achilles heel for this BYU team, and they average close to 20 in conference play.
Given to Sanaya Copeland on the inbound. Elle Evans. And now Samaya Nichols.
Copeland just to quickly get it over to Evans in the corner.
Big block shot from Nadira El-Tayeb on Calvert. Stays with BYU. Elle Evans with 15 points.
Well, it starts with Nichols. She breaks down the defense. She causes the defense to collapse. And then you get the kick out and the extra pass. Very unselfish. 9 assists now as a team for Kansas on 16 made field goals.
Not a shocker that the Jayhawks are shooting it based on what I witnessed at shoot-around as Calvert cannot answer from 3. They like these rims. They like this gym.
It's the lighting, right? It's good lighting, Jim. And Evans. Boy, a little heat check there. But she's shooting so well. Let her shoot. She's got a green light everywhere she goes. And just a beautiful stroke on her shot. And when you watch her set up her shot, she is always loaded, ready to go.
Cannon with the 3 fouls. Dribbled into some traffic. Jump ball, possession arrow to Kansas. The frustration building for BYU here early in the third quarter. Amber Whiting going to the bench. Heather Hampson will replace Emma Calvert in the post.
Active hands defensively, and we've seen the Jayhawks do a really good job getting in the passing lanes and then digging in. When BYU puts the ball on the floor, you're having to dribble through a gauntlet of hands poking at the ball.
6-0 run for the Jayhawks. Samaya Nichols. Another open 3. That one missed badly, however, by Copeland. Whiting getting to the rim. Flip it back out to Cannon. Gibb, open 3. Long. And the rebound picked up by Copeland.
BYU 1 for 5 in their start in this third frame. Not a great offensive start.
When Nichols so good at drawing contact. I know that's a frustrating foul call for BYU, and their fans are letting the officials hear it. But just the way she can contort her body around the hoop makes it hard not for the officials to blow the whistle.
Well, I thought that was better straight up position from Hampson, but you can still see the arm just slightly angled. You just got to go straight up and use your size to contest the shot because Nichols is so good going right into you to draw the contact.
Nichols drops in the first free throw. That bounces around the rim and down. She's got 9 points, 4 assists. And she'll have 1 more from the free throw line.
She comes in 5th in the conference in scoring at 19 points per game. And as we mentioned earlier, 40% of her offense that she has scored this season comes at the charity stripe.
253 free throw attempts on the season now for Nichols. Gibb has the ball poked away from behind, but a foul call on Nichols as she caught some of Gibb's hand and wrist. Her first personal foul. Kansas, just that quick, Kristen, out in front by 12, 45-33.
Well, we heard from Coach Snyder at the half on what he wanted to adjust. Part of that was defense, right, and limiting the paint. They've done a really good job at being in better position on the second rotation, right, the second line of defense, getting to their spots, helping each other out.
Gibb is bumped and has the ball knocked out of bounds.
Coach
BYU
Schneider,
faithful wanted a foul call there. Coach Schneider, meanwhile, Kristen, you're observing him
he is
going
fired
after
up.
his team.
He wants them to be locked in defensively. He knows how important that is. As you saw in the second frame where BYU got hot from the three-point line.
What do you do against that type of move? A behind-the-back dribble to get around the second defender help and a score at the rim and an offensive foul as Gibb pays the price on the hip of Williams.
Gibb making plays on both sides of the ball, but this is an elite move behind the back. Just right over the shorter sides of Copeland, taking advantage. Gibb with 5 points on 2 of 4 shooting. She really needs to get going offensively as the leading scorer for this team.
Cannon for 3. Back iron, no good. Opposite side rebound from Conessa and quickly to Samaya Nichols. Williams right at Hampson. And Kansas continues their assault, getting downhill and putting BYU on their heels.
They really play to their advantage. 1 through 5 can put the ball on the deck, take you off the dribble. Their bigs like to face up, not traditional back-to-the-back bigs. So they catch it at the elbow, they sweep, they get to the rim, and Williams drawing the contact from Hampson. As these BYU bigs have not figured out, if I just go straight up, use my size, contest the shot, rather than continue to put them at the free throw line.
Once again, Kansas missed their first 5 free throws of the game. They have now combined to make 9 straight. This would be 10 if Williams can knock it down, and she does. Once again, a 12-point Jayhawks lead, 47-35, 6:15 to play in the third quarter.
And the Jayhawks 10.
Second three-point make, back to a single-digit lead for Kansas.
She's coming off a 13-point game against Arizona State where I thought she did a really good job looking for her shot. She's not known for the three-point shot, but she's looking now, and she has a beautiful stroke when she's set.
13 points, a team high for Whiting and BYU. Quick hands on defense for the Cougars, and a jump ball results in BYU possession.
Watch Whiting right here. As she sets up her shot, Gibb does a really good job. The double comes, and then goes to Calvert quickly. So an inside-out three-point shot. That's ideal for this BYU offense, to get a touch inside and then get it on a kick out.
Whiting thinking about it again. Gives to Cannon. Cannon will dribble back out top. Short pass to Calvert, and now Gibb on the right wing. She'll step back and do a long 3. Delaney Gibb with 8 points. And now she has 2 3-point connections.
Keeping BYU's hopes alive right now. If you go under the screen, she's going to pull that trigger every time in the pick and roll action. It was a defensive miscue by Conessa.
The floater missed by Conessa. Gibb, skip pass for Cannon. She'll get back to Gibb. Long 3. No good, and flying in to now secure the rebound is Evans. She gives to Copeland. Evans receives back. Elle Evans into the left corner as the 3 is missed by Harshaw, but an offensive rebound by Evans. Give her 17 points after the putback.
Absolutely putting her fingerprint all work. If you just saw her reaction, she is so calm. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, and just continues to be an absolute threat from the out.
And taking some positives for both of these teams you're watching here tonight as they push towards Kansas City.
Just one more game remaining on Saturday. BYU will take on Utah at Utah, and then the Jayhawks playing Oklahoma State at home on Sunday.
Nichols worked her way into the paint. There's not enough legs on that short little leaner in the lane, and BYU running the break. Davenport got a fortunate bounce, and the Cougars to within 6.
And Delaney Gibb always looking for that middle cut that we saw from Davenport right there. And so if you're BYU and Gibb puts the ball on the floor, dribbles under the basket, I would be cutting the ball, just like you saw Davenport there.
Elle Evans with 20 points, 7 of 10, but a giveaway there.
Great dig in from Amari Whiting. BYU's got numbers, but do they recognize it?
Calvert Hands back to Gibb. Immediately into a three. That one no good.
And we've seen Gibb hit those. A lot of times when teams are going under the screen or kind of settle in and put their hands down, you consider that as a shooter. Hands down, man down, and they're going to pull the trigger as Gibb did there.
Whiting defending Nichols. And another jumper is good from Williams. Reagan Williams having a game as well.
I haven't seen her take a bad shot in this game. She's been very selective, timing and score, shot selection, and she is one of those star freshmen that we've been watching on the court here today.
Averages 8.6 a game. She's got 15. So both she and Elle Evans well above their season averages. 2 minutes even to play in the third quarter on that whistle.
Well, Delaney Gibbs got 5 assists on this one right here as Davenport. Smart decision, cut to the basket. Gibb does a really good job finding her. And Gibbs had to work for everything she's gotten offensively, but she is a creator for her teammates.
Hampson rescuing Whiting on the inbound there. Now the ball in Gibbs' hands. Delaney Gibb. And almost went in. Scramble for the loose ball offensive rebound. Whiting has it.
8th offensive board by BYU.
Floater on the crossover dribble is good from Whiting, who has a team high 15 points now. She's 6 for 7 from the field.
She's at her best when she plays on attack, but she does have 2 3-point makes in the game.
Kansas still shooting a blistering 56% as a team. They were at 58 at half. And one for the Jayhawks. Williams now with 17 points. Looking to add to it here with a free throw.
So good on the face-up because of her versatility. Watch her just attack Hampson under the rim. And let's see if that hand came down. Boy, that's a tough call, but it's been the call all night. That's how they've called it on the BYU bigs. You see that left arm. Williams taking advantage of her skill set off the bounce.
Williams with that free throw make has now tied her season and career high with 18 points. She did it on January 4th at Oklahoma State.
It's her 3rd straight game in double figures. And she's been coming off the bench the last couple of games, but it allows her to play without picking up 2 early fouls.
Gibb, 3 on the skip pass, no good. Offensive rebound as Cannon is tangled up with Evans. Their arms interlocked and the foul goes against Elle Evans.
And that's what BYU has to do. They have to play with some fight. And Brindley Cannon bringing it right here on this offensive glass. The dog in her is going to come out if she can just play around the rim. And that's what they need because those 50-50 balls, the details are what is going to matter and help BYU get back into this game.
Gibb will try the same shot again. And again, no good. So Gibb now 3 of 10 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. Does have the 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Got into early foul trouble, and just maybe that has impacted her flow of the game, you would think. Samaya Nichols, this time charged with an offensive foul as Davenport draws it for BYU.
Well, the rotation from Davenport to be there, get herself set, helping Whiting out. It's a lot of trust between your teammates. That's a big foul drawn by Davenport. Any stop is huge for BYU at this critical juncture in the game and then going into the 4th quarter.
4th turnover by Nichols. But 10 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds for the sophomore point guard for the Jayhawks. They lead by 9. And a tough pass from Davenport. BYU fortunate to hold on to the ball.
I like the cut from Cannon, but yeah, that, as you mentioned, that was a risky one. There was a lot of Jayhawks surrounding Cannon as she cut to the basket.
24 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Kansas has outscored BYU here in the 3rd frame 20-17. They've outscored BYU in all of the 3 quarters thus far. Whiting gives back to Cannon. And her shot is blocked. With the shot clock winding down, the Jayhawks can take the final shot here in the 3rd quarter with 3, 2, and 1. And it's short from Nichols, but it will be a elite bloodlines to say the least. And out of the timeout, Samaya Nichols looking for a 3, rims off, rebounded by Delaney Gibb. Her 6th rebound 9-time Big 12 Freshman of the Week. Limited with early foul trouble. Understandably, BYU probably going to need a big quarter from Gibb and a few others to make this a game. Congdon had a really nice first half. Haven't really heard much from her since.
Yeah, she's gone a little bit cold, and 4 for 3, 13 overall rather.
Harshaw has Nichols. Congdon pressuring near midcourt.
You look how they space it out. Shooters in the corners. They'll work the pick and roll action up top.
Evans with 2 and 1 on the shot clock. Had to force it up.
I'm surprised that one didn't fall.
Again,
the way she's shooting the ball.
Totally fair point. Cannon to Whiting. Driving inside. Whiting, 17 points for Amari Whiting.
She has perfected that floater. And with good measure, because when that defender is flying at you and they got more size on you, you have to be able to score up and over the top of them.
BYU with a stop and an opportunity to cut even further into a 7-point lead. Gibb gets to the hoop. Short on the layup. Ball is loose. Nichols tracks it down. 2 on 3. She'll wisely give back to Evans.
The BYU has had back-to-back defensive stops. They need another one right here. That would be a kill for this team, and that's something that they track. When you get 3 stops in a row defensively, they call it a kill. Super important to what they do, their overall game plan. Now 19 points on 8 for 7 from the floor. Excuse me, 8 for 9 now.
Whiting now 1 shy of her season and career high 20 points. She did that against Houston on January 8th, but BYU just does not have the answers on defense. Williams, a new career high with 20.
She doesn't give the defense any time to react. BYU 10 for 26 from distance, and that's really what's kept them in the game, because the turnovers and just missing shots around the rim they have struggled with.
And a whistle on the exchange of the ball. And they'll get Gibb. That's her 3rd personal, so after the 2 in the first 2 minutes of the game, Gibb has not committed a foul until now here in the 4th quarter.
She's done a really good job of just playing good, solid defense, not picking up that 3rd until this moment, as you mentioned, but she's played 24 minutes overall. Coach Whiting had to go to her in the first half trying to get some offense going, trusting her to play with those 2 for a lot of minutes.
Just saw Davenport's latest make for BYU, 6-point Kansas lead. Nichols, Whiting pressuring. Nichols flips it up and takes a hit on the cheek. Showing some frustration as she flipped the ball out of bounds after that foul call.
And the official telling her to go get the ball. You're going to flip it underneath. She's got to go get it. She's frustrated, taking a shot to her face from Whiting, and she says, if you're going to be physical with me and push up on me, I will come right back at you with physicality. And that's the type of player she is. She does not get pushed off her post. She is very strong.
Samaya Nichols, 84% free throw shooter on the season. Perfect on the first. She's now 5 of 6 from the free throw line in today's game. 11 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds.
Leads the nation at the free throw line and makes and takes. And just watching how physical she is, you can tell why.
Kansas back in front by 8 after Nichols' latest free throw makes. 6.5 to play. Gibb holding, wants Calvert inside. Calvert isolated. The dig down, ball loose. Possession arrow to BYU, but again, good double team defense by the Jayhawks. Again, another thing that I saw in their shoot around today, Kristen, they wanted to pressure Delaney Gibb on the arc with the double team, and they wanted to dig down and help out with that monster at times in the post.
Well, and Gibb took her defense right into Calvert as Calvert was trying to make a move to the basket. That's a mistake by Gibb. Allow Calvert some space.
Gibb is blocked with the shot clock winding down. And How about the effort by Nadira El-Tayeb to block shot, not commit the foul, and prevent one of BYU's best shooters from getting a clean look?
Defensively, the Jayhawks have really stepped it up here in the second half. They've locked in, they're communicating better, rotating.
Floater, no good. Calvert rips away the rebound, takes one dribble, and has Cannon. Cannon is fouled going to the hoop. Elle Evans can't believe the call.
I like the aggressive move from the freshman going right at Evans. Boy, not a ton of contact on that one. You can understand why Evans might be a little frustrated, but the officials giving Cannon the call.
These are only the third and fourth free throws that will be attempted by BYU in the game.
Huge discrepancy at the free throw line. And it's the game plan of what the Jayhawks do. They get to the free throw line. They average 19 attempts while they're at 18 attempts. And as you mentioned, BYU just 3 and 4 on the game.
Cannon, 87% free throw shooter, misses both.
The door remains a little bit open, and then it just gets tighter and tighter as BYU can't capitalize.
Not sure how the whistle stays quiet on that play. Congdon, transition three, well short. Offensive rebound grabbed by Cannon. Nichols reaching in, whoa, and some physical play from Cannon and Nichols. And they're going to call a foul on Nichols.
Watch Nichols reach in here. That's a foul before the contact with the ball. And Nichols not trying to elevate it, I don't think. You saw the arms kind of extend, but she was just saying, hey, we're good, we're good. Just a competitor as Cannon is, and Cannon, one of those players that's always involved in the dirty work.
5:25 to play. Calvert, beautiful drawn up out of bounds play to get Calvert a wide open layup in the post.
Executed perfectly on that cross screen. Calvert stayed low and then finished high when she caught the ball.
Getting to the point where BYU can ill afford to now trade hoops with Kansas. Evans for three. No good this time. Can the Cougars capitalize after the stop, trailing by 6? We'll find out the answer to that question after the break. 4:51 to play in the game.
I think Evans has been tremendous on her ability to create her own shot away from the ball and find her moments to shoot. And then Whiting getting to the line, or getting into the paint rather, off the dribble with the floater shot. And she has really asserted herself, especially in the second half.
Gibb for Calvert. Calvert, good look, missed it. Offensive rebound, Cannon. Gibb for three, well short, another offensive rebound. Gibb dribbles out of the double team. Here's Whiting. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Huge possession for BYU at this juncture. Again for Calvert. Inside shot, partially blocked, and it looks like Sanaya Copeland got smacked in the jaw. Whistle blows, foul called.
Well, they called it on Gibb. That's the 4th on Gibb, saying that she reached in on that rebound.
Well, missed opportunities for BYU, no question.
I don't know if that was Gibb. It might have been Cannon. Tough to tell from that angle. Unfortunately, Gibb was standing near Copeland when the official was trying to check herself and see who the foul was on.
BYU now forced to try and stop what has been a very efficient Kansas offense again. The Jayhawks currently in
That was a
2.5 minute drought. Certainly got away with a walk, and now a foul on BYU. And Whiting reaching in. That's going to be the 15th foul. No, jump ball. They'll stay with the Jayhawks. 17 seconds on the shot clock. Thought they were going to get Whiting on the reach in. Saw the emotions of Gibb a moment ago, sitting on the bench, frustrated, in early foul trouble, and now retired. But I think, yeah, there was some confusion on the BYU bench. They thought that Cannon picked up that foul and that was only the 4th on Gibb. only to find out that's 5 and she's done.
Well, Delaney knew right away that they called it on her because her face was in disbelief when they called that foul on the other end. So just got to be smarter knowing you have 4 personals.
BYU gets another stop. The Cougars going to have to do it without their freshman star, Amari Whiting. Back for Calvert. Cannon, Congdon will take the 3. No good. Well, several players had an open look. Congdon's was probably more contested than a couple of other chances that BYU could have taken.
0 for 2 from distance for Congdon here in the second half. She went 3 for 4 from three-point in the second frame.
4 of 15 overall. 3 in and out. And the scoring drought for Kansas continues, pushing over 3 minutes. Still a 6-point game. 3 minutes to go. Calvert.
Well, she has absolutely been the answer offensively for BYU and her ability to put the ball on the floor and score around the rim.
Conessa. Guarded by Congdon. Sanayak.
Down.
Davenport for 3. BYU's got to have one from distance. Cannot find the range. Elle Evans. Right at Calvert. And Evans will go to the free throw line. 2:07 to play. Kansas with 2 shots forthcoming from the charity stripe, in front by 6.
How about this play from Laya Canessa? Puts the ball on the floor, creates her own shot, manufacturing a point when her team needs it. Shot clock going down. BYU had got 2 back-to-back stops. That was a massive shot from the sophomore guard.
Evans with 21.
As we came back down, I like the good aggressive move from Evans to go right from the youth in this conference.
And more coming for Kansas. Number 6 ranked recruiting class, according to ESPNW, headed to Lawrence.
A couple 5-star, 2 4-star recruits, McDonald's All-American.
Whiting. BYU wasting precious seconds here. Whiting almost got that to go. Does earn a trip to the free throw line. 1:42 to play. Well, at this point, it feels like BYU.
Ball pressure from Canessa. She just did a really good job not giving him any vision on that, and then bailed out at the very end was Whiting to put herself on the line.
Whiting adds to her career best, now with 22 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and only 2 turnovers. This off a frustrating loss to Arizona State where she had just 1 assist and 7 turnovers. Leaves the second free throw short, however. BYU down 7. When do you start to foul, Kristen? Because and who do you foul, frankly?
Right, look, go down the roster. You definitely don't want to foul Nichols or Evans and put them on the line. But Williams is a 56% free throw shooter, so I would go with Reagan Williams when she touches the ball, but you have to be careful because Calvert does have 4 personal fouls.
Nichols was 7 and 6. Evans to Conessa, spinning. And did Kansas beat the shot clock? I thought maybe, and a tie-up with some physical play before the whistle blows.
And possession will go to BYU. And so you got the stop, but you wasted a lot of time on the clock. Now BYU has to play fast, down 7. A great kick from Canessa. That's actually a really good baseline look from Williams. Just didn't fall, but BYU needs something quick and get to the rim.
Whiting has been the answer. They get Calvert. She slips through the Kansas defense on that flare and scores. 5-point game, 57 seconds to play. Conessa. And timeout Kansas, called by Brandon Schneider. Critical call on the time. 52.9. Kansas basketball, 5-point lead.
All 5 players for the Jayhawks, very capable of catching the ball, putting it on the floor, breaking the pressure.
Evans receives, guarded by Hattie Ogden.
BYU opts to not foul, down 7.
And a 10-second violation on Kansas.
It paid off. Big time defensive stop by the Cougars.
They got after Samaya Nichols, who he said throw the ball. He wanted her to throw a touchdown pass well before it went to Evans in that situation.
Yeah, trying to run it long to Canessa.
Ooh. Did they get it across the timeline?
They may have, as you watch the clock.
I know the possession has to be secured before you get to 19
Correct.
seconds on the shot clock, but that is really close.
BYU opted not to foul, and it absolutely paid off. Now they've got to convert without their leading scorer, Delaney Gibb, who has fouled out of the game. It's been effective the last couple possessions to get the ball inside to Calvert. Can they find that when the switch comes in the pick and roll, or they double up top on a quick touch pass down low to Calvert? You don't need a three, you just got to get something quick. Try to get something at the rim. And then obviously if the defense rotates and you get an open look on the outside, pull that trigger. Whiting's been tremendous, 22 points and a new career high, 9 for 10. Absolutely efficient for BYU.
Whiting from Calvert at 40 seconds, spinning in the lane, scores again, 24 points, it's a one-possession game. What a fight from BYU with no Delaney Gibb on the floor, fouled out. And a career night from their sophomore point guard, Amari Whiting.
Williams with excellent defense, moved her feet, contested the shot, just an even better offensive play from Whiting, the sophomore guard. And she's feeling it, she's laser focused offensively, she's carrying the team, especially in the second half, just putting the team on her back offensively.
BYU, if they choose, Kristen, has the option to defend out the shot clock.
We're reviewing the clock to determine and to make sure that the clock stopped correctly.
There you hear an explanation from the officials to make sure that every tenth that needs to be on. A number of good free throw shooters for the Jayhawks on the floor.
If Williams gets it, that would be one that BYU would want to foul. She's a 56% free throw shooter.
Looks like BYU will defend out the possession. About 8 seconds difference between the game clock and shot clock. Nichols at 12 and 11.
This is where you do not want to foul now, especially Nichols.
Driving to the hoop. And she scores! Timeout BYU. 12.3 to play. Samaya Nichols.
Well, the awareness to just use up the clock and then get right around Whiting and the screen, right at Davenport, as Dav was trying to draw the contact for an offensive charge. But Nichols, boy, and the crowd didn't like it.
BYU fans wanted the bump with the shoulder of Nichols into the chest of Davenport. 14 points for Nichols. And again, the 8 rebounds, 7 assists.
The clock is under review to determine if it stopped correctly.
All right, once again, officials making sure that clock management is on point. What do you do now if you're BYU, Kristen?
Whatever you can get as a good look, whether to the basket or a three-point shot, you got to take it. You don't have a ton of time to dribble and work that pick and roll action. You got to get something good off of this inbound, so that means you got to set good screens. Set a good screen to try to get your teammate open, or get a curl to the basket right here with Whiting.
Cannon to inbound. Goes to Whiting. Whiting, got to move fast. Too much time off the clock. They want Calvert inside. Get the hoop, but only 5.6 to play. So now BYU needs a steal or an immediate foul. And do you attempt to get aggressive, depending on who Kansas leaves on the floor, to try and, while they're trying to inbound the ball, foul their worst free throw shooter?
Yeah, absolutely. Now take another look right here at Whiting. Great pass. You find her. Throwing that ball high, making sure that Williams can't get a good finish by Calvert. She's had a couple of those in the fourth quarter. Calvert now with 12 points. But as you mentioned, you just got to foul whoever it is quickly. You don't have time to wait for the ball to go to somebody else who's not as great of a free throw shooter. But Copeland out there on the court, she's a 59% free throw shooter. Williams, 56%. Knessa, who will most likely handle the ball, or Nichols, they're both in the 83s. So whatever BYU does, go for the ball and try to foul right away.
I would be shocked if this ball goes into anybody's hands but Samaya Nichols. BYU denies her. Evans sprinting out is fouled and will shoot 2 free throws.
And she leads this team, coming in at 86%. Just slightly better than Nichols at the line in terms of percentage. Now, she has definitely not shot as many. Nichols has shot almost 200 more at the free throw line than Evans this season.
Evans to essentially ice the game here with 1 make, and does. Perfect on the first attempt. 23 points, a team high for Kansas. This to tie for a game high, and she's got it with 24. Amari Whiting with 24 for BYU, 5-point game, and the Jayhawks, unless we see an absolute meltdown here, gonna get out of Provo with a big road win, and they'll end their own lengthy, or I should say lengthy losing streak, but it's been a tough month for Kansas overall.
It really has. In games that they've been in games where they've been blown out. Last game, obviously that blowout with Kansas State, lost by 30. They did beat UCF, but they have lost a handful of games as of late in this season. Part of that's injuries, part of that is trying to figure out a rotation. You've got a lot of youth on this team. It's similar to what BYU's dealing with. When certain players go down that you're not anticipating, everything shuffles, everybody's role shuffles, and you're trying to figure out new chemistry, new rotations. But this is a very talented Kansas team. That 5-11 Big 12 record does not depict how talented they are. And the same with BYU, which is 4 Big 12 wins.
A purposeful foul, because Kansas has a few to give. BYU not shooting 2 in the bonus, and Kansas can foul again, essentially end this game. Make BYU use some more seconds. Secures the 5-point win.
Để em đó. Chưa được. Mười hai là đấy rồi, đấy là cơ này. Tập trung trận tới này trước đi này. Tập trung trận tới u trước đi đã. Thì có view rồi, sơ trước.